Big rally today. It seems like this was a great turnout for the ballpark.
Yeah, I think we had a great turnout today. Our estimates were over 700 people in the park. We had about 600 T-shirts and another 100 hats, and we gave them all away. We had food, we had drinks, we gave it all away. I think what you find a lot of times in El Paso is that the minority voice is very loud, and I think there's a majority of El Pasoans that are for it, and we had to finally get them out here. So they were out here in numbers. They were in full support of it. And we all think it went great. It was a great turnout.
It was a great turnout. You had lots of good speakers here. I know Josh Hunt spoke. I know we also saw Beto O'Rourke is running for Congress. Jim Paul, who of course ran the Diablo so successfully for many years. It seems like folks from just about every crossroads, whether it's politics, whether it's professional baseball, like with Jim Paul, we're here to talk in favor of the ballpark.
Well, and I'll let you know that we didn't pick our speakers. Our speakers picked us. They came to us. They wanted to speak. This was all at their own free will. And it is interesting, as you mentioned, Duke, that they come from all walks of life. And I think, again, that's representative of the majority of El Paso that is for a ballpark, and not only for a ballpark in El Paso with a AAA affiliation, but one that sits on the City Hall site. That is very important for people to understand. The tearing down of City Hall and building a $50 million ballpark is less expensive than it would be if we found alternate sites in downtown El Paso or anywhere else in El Paso. So this is a pivotal time for El Paso, and it's very transformative to where we're going to be in the next 25 years. We can either move forward or we can stay the same.
I think a lot of folks who have been against it, at least voicing their opinions, that this moved really fast, and they're uncomfortable with the speed of it. But it kind of had to, didn't it?
Well, first of all, this thing didn't move very fast. It's been moving for the last 2 years. As a matter of fact, 2 years ago, when the Portland affiliate was available for sale, the ownership group brought down executives from the PCL, the Pacific Coast League, and we tried to purchase the team then. The first trip they made from the airport was over to Cohen Stadium, and they showed them Cohen Stadium. They said, we'll put the money into Cohen Stadium to bring it up to AAA standards, and the PCL said immediately, you cannot bring this ballpark up to AAA standards, and we lost the bid immediately. So we kept pursuing it for the next 2 years, and Tucson became available for purchase. We invited the PCL to El Paso again. The first thing that they said was, remember what killed the deal last time was Cohen Stadium. That is not in our blueprint for a PCL AAA team in a city like El Paso. So the ownership group took that very seriously, and they looked at it and took their advice and started to work with the city openly, which is very important to know. All of these meetings that people say that were behind closed doors were not behind closed doors. Everything was openly vetted at City Council. El Pasoans knew about it. Did it have to happen quickly at one point? It did, because of the negotiations with the PCL and how to close on not only a price for the team, but where it's located, and had to agree to a term sheet, which is what's going on tomorrow at City Council. They're agreeing on the final terms of the term sheet.
And my understanding is that Representative Emma Acosta, who has changed or seems to be ready to change her vote from yes to no in regards to moving ahead with this project. One of the things that she's pointed out, she believes that this can be held off a year or two, that it doesn't have to be up by 2014. What is Mountain Star's position on that?
Well, first of all, let me address some of Emma's concerns. She came out and she said she had an issue with the non-compete clause and that she had an issue with the 10-cent surcharge, and the ownership group immediately came back to her and understood her thoughts and compromised. We've now lifted the no-compete clause, so El Paso can not only have AAA baseball, they can have their Diablos too. We can have two venues for baseball in El Paso. That's a great thing. We also raised the ticket surcharge up to 50 cents, and they also increased their rent agreement by 10% every 5 years. So they met her demands, if you want to call them that, and she immediately came back and said she still has some problems with the contract. I think it's clear that Emma doesn't have problems with the contract. I think she is preparing to run for mayor next year, and I think she wants the citizens of El Paso to know that this is her platform. She listens to El Pasoans. She's trying to listen to the other side and kill this deal because she wants to use that as a platform for her mayorship next year. And I think we all know that once she does that, it won't be the beginning of her political career. It'll be the end of her political career.
Very cool. Thanks very much, Steffen.
You got it.
Let me ask you a real quick about Cohen Stadium, because it was rumored that Mountain Star Sports, well, it wasn't a rumor, it happened. They tried to get, you spoke to it, they tried to get the PCL to go there. The PCL said no. A lot of folks wonder, downtown is so inconvenient, why not Cohen Stadium?
Well, one of the things you have to consider with Cohen Stadium, it was built in the old style of stadiums and the old philosophy, which is called the donut concept. When you go out to Cohen Stadium, what is wrapped around Cohen Stadium is a sea of concrete that is set up for parking. So when people go to Cohen Stadium, they park and they go immediately into the stadium. It does nothing for economic development in that area out there.
Yeah.
The concept now is to build ballparks in the middle of downtowns and not build a parking structure around it. What they're trying to do is get you to park in parking garages and streets and walk a block or two. And as you walk a block or two, you will partake in restaurants, maybe grab a beer, grab dinner, do something with the family. And when you leave, you'll do the same thing. And that spurs economic development in downtown. Now, the PCL has an average, and this is the PCL average, that 3 people per 1 car come to a game. This ballpark downtown is housed to sit 9,000 people. Around the ballpark, within a 1-block radius, are 3 parking garages, the Mills Parking Garage, Union Plaza, and Convention Center, that hold 4,000 parking spots. So if you have 3-to-1 ratio and we sell out the game, among those 3 garages, we'll still have open parking. And that's a fact. That is not opinion. That is a fact.
There will be enough parking downtown.
Yes, absolutely there'll be enough parking. Not only will there be enough parking, there'll be enough affordable parking.